It is Halloween night and in 1963 we are shown someone approaching a house. He watches inside the house where a couple is busy loving each other. Both go to the first floor to continue, and the guy follows them from the back door. He grabs a knife and heads to the room. He sees the boy leaving the house and goes to the girl. He finds her undressed in the room. She recognizes him and calls Michael, but he starts to stab her with a knife until she dies. He then goes out, wearing a mask, and his parents come out of a car and unmask him. Here we learn he is a 6-year-old child, and he murdered his sister. Scene shifts to 1978, and we are shown two psychiatrists, Dr. Samuel and Marion, heading to the sanitarium to see Michael. They are going to escort Michael to court for the hearing. On reaching the sanitarium, it seems like Michael has escaped from the sanitarium. He breaks into their car and steals it from Marion. The next morning, the high school student Lori is seen, heading to her school. Lori's father gives her a key to the same house seen at the beginning of the movie, and tells her to keep it under the doormat, because he is trying to sell it. On the way, Lori meets Tommy Doyle, a child she babysits. Both reach near the house, and she stops to drop off the key. Tommy is scared and tells her the house is haunted after she keeps the key under the doormat. Next, we see Dr. Samuel with his colleague telling him to alert the authorities about Michael's escape. Meanwhile, Lori is attending a class, and she finds Michael on the street wearing a mask, staring at her. When she watches out the window a second time, he disappears, leaving her confused. Scene shifts to Tommy, seen with a pumpkin holding with his classmates. His classmates gather around him and scare him by telling him that the boogeyman will come for him. Michael reaches the school and starts to follow Tommy for a while and leaves. On the other hand, Dr. Samuel is seen, calling to police and alerting them about Michael. Dr. Samuel then finds a truck beside a rail track with Michael's sanitarium suit. Here we learn that Michael has killed a mechanic for his suits. Back at Lori's school, she finishes school and heads home with her two friends, Annie and Linda. On the way, Lori notices Michael stalking her throughout the day, but her friends dismiss her concerns. After walking for a while, reaching her house, Lori notices Michael is staring at her from behind bushes. She tells Linda, but she didn't believe it and goes to see behind the bushes, but can't find anyone. Then Lori returns home and finds Michael staring at her from her backyard and disappearing in the same instant. She is terrified and closes the windows. At the same time, her friend Annie called her, saying she will come to pick her up in the evening. Annie comes to pick Lori up, offering her a cigarette on the way. First, she refuses, but smokes it after Annie insists, causing her to cough. Annie sees her father's sheriff, Lee Brackett, near a hardware store, and pulls over to ask him about the situation. He tells them someone had broken into the store and stolen knives, ropes, and a Halloween mask. He blames it on kids because it is Halloween, but it is stolen by Michael. Michael then follows them until they return to their home at night. Lori goes to babysit Tommy and Annie goes to babysit a girl named Lindsay. And Michael is still stalking them. On the other hand, Dr. Samuel and Sheriff come to Michael's house to search for him. At Michael's house, Dr. Samuel tells the story of Michael, how he killed her sister and calls him pure evil. As Samuel expects Michael to return to the house, Brackett goes to patrol the streets, doubting the danger. Back to Lori, she is sitting with Tommy, narrating a story, and finds his interest in the boogeyman. As Annie and Lori babysit across the street, Annie calls Lori and asks about each other's situation, and hangs up while frustrated by the family dog. Tommy sees Michael from the windows and thinks he is the boogeyman. He wants to show Lori, but she can't see anything and didn't believe him. In fear, he tells Lori that he is coming after him, but Lori tells him she is here to protect him, so he goes quiet. On the other hand, Michael is spying on Annie and kills the family's dog when it comes and barks at him. Annie spills the dirt on her shirt and goes to wash her clothes. Michael follows her and locks her in the laundry room. She calls for help, but Lindsay can't hear her because of the TV. Luckily, Annie's boyfriend calls her and asks Lindsay to give her the phone. She comes to tell Annie in the laundry room and gets her out. At call, her boyfriend asks her to pick him up from his home, so Annie takes Lindsay over to Tommy's house to spend the night with Lori, so she can pick up her boyfriend. Annie tells Lori to watch her and goes to get her car keys. When she gets into her car, Michael appears from the back seat. He grabs her throat from behind and strangles her. She tries to get help by making a noise with the horn, but no one can hear her. Unfortunately, she chokes to death. In the next scene, we see Linda comes with her boyfriend to spend time with Annie. They get into the house and find no one inside. Linda calls Lori if Annie is with her, but she tells her she is left to pick up her boyfriend early. Both are excited to be alone, so they go to have some fun upstairs. After having some fun in bed, Linda's boyfriend goes to bring beer to her. When he was in the kitchen, Michael suddenly appears and stabs him with a kitchen knife and pins him on the wall. Michael then comes to Linda's room and poses as her boyfriend in a ghost costume. She makes fun of him from the bed, as she thinks her boyfriend is playing with her. She ignores him and calls Lori to ask about Annie's disappearance. Michael approaches her and strangles her with the phone cord, while Lori listens on her phone. First Lori thinks she is joking, but afterward, she can't hear her voice. She is doubtful and goes to find out to the house across the street. Dr. Samuel sees the stolen car and comes to investigate, but he finds no one in the car. Lori enters the house and finds both Linda and her boyfriend dead upstairs. She is shocked to see the bodies and starts to cry. At the same time, Michael appears from behind and slashes her arm, causing her to fall downstairs. She is injured and flees to the back door because she lost the front door keys. She manages to escape from the house and comes to save the children from Michael. She locks the door and tells them to hide, and tries to call for the police, but the phone is dead. She turns off the lights and tries to hide, but Michael sees her and wants to stab her but misses. She grabs a knitting needle and stabs his neck and thinks she killed him. Outside the house, a sheriff is patrolling while Dr. Samuel is searching. Samuel tells him to see behind the house while he is in front of the house waiting for Michael near his car. On the other hand, Lori struggles to reach upstairs to look for the children. Suddenly Michael appears from behind, and she takes the children inside the room and hides in a closet. As Michael comes behind her, he finds her in the closet but cannot reach her. She again stabs him with a sharp hanger pin, and causing him to fall to the ground. She sees him dead and comes to get the children out of the room, and tells them to go neighbor's house and call the police. Children run out of the house while shouting for help. Samuel hears them and comes to see Michael in the house. At the house, Michael appears from behind Lori and wants to kill her. Luckily Dr. Samuel comes and shoots him until he has got out of the bullets, causing him to fall off the balcony. Samuel comes to see him from the balcony, but finds him gone, and the movie ends. Check the description for the next Halloween movie series playlist. Leave a like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks for watching.